Father, we thank you, praise you, God, that bless us this morning. We pray right now in the name of Jesus that you would give us wisdom. Oh God, grant these your people, God, wisdom to do the jobs that need to be done.
Yes.
God, keep your hand of mercy upon us, oh God. Keep this city. Do what you will with us. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
All right. Give me the will. Call this meeting to order. Do have a quorum. I'd like to acknowledge all the guests that are here today. Thank y'all for coming. We're going to open it up for a public hearing. Looks like we have 3 speakers today. I'm going to call on Mr. Mark Norton first.
He was just here. There he is.
Oh, here. I didn't recognize him.
Can I stand back there or I gotta come up here good?
You can come up here.
Whatever. I'll try to be brief, but most people know that's difficult for me. But a couple of things I want to touch on. Number one, over the years that I've been coming to Commissioners Court, I've been noting that in certain occasions, certain people are paid for their comp time, while others obviously are not. I think we need some consistency there. I think if you're going to pay an hourly role employee, then that hourly role employee should be paid overtime if he so chooses, instead of comp time. I intend on doing a little more research in depth in that within LRB and et cetera, but I think we need some consistency. I don't think it's fair to pay one individual for their overtime or comp time, whatever you choose to call it, when others are being forced to just take the time off. They might want the money. Most cases, most of us want the money. I think in some cases, some people are paying overtime to their people while others are doing the comp time. So I think we need some consistency within that payroll situation right there. Private roads and drives. I beat this up in 2021. There was a lady at the last Commissioners Court meeting. She was complaining about a road. She claimed that some material was put on a private road. I don't know if that's true or false. I did not go and look at that. But I know over the years there has been considerable inconsistency on maintaining private roads and or drives and culverts through various commissioners. I did ask this question in 2021. About 8 months later, I did get an answer from at least 2 commissioners that chose to respond. Both of those commissioners, their answer was no, we do not. But I know, I've witnessed it, I've seen it in all areas of the county where certain private roads, I've seen some county employees and some county work going on those roads. Culverts going into driveways, I've seen some rock placed on those by the county. Myself, when mine washed out, Mark Norton paid for all that. But we need consistency. If we're going to do it, then let's do it for everybody. If we're not, then let's go by what I was told. Point blank, no, we do not. I have it in writing from 2 different commissioners that said, no, we do not. I know there are exceptions to every rule. I have one commissioner that admitted to me that he put some material on a private road, but there was a person down that road with health problems. A home health nurse needed to get down that road. It was not passable, and he put some material on that road to get down there. I think that's an exception to the rule. So, but I think we need some consistency across the board because, like I said, this lady was quite upset last month. Like I said, I didn't go check to see if her complaints were viable as far as material being put on the private roads, but if that's the case, then like I said, we need to do it one for all or none. And the last thing I want to touch on, and I'll be quick, but jail. I committed to trying to help get a new jail in this county. I am still committed to helping get a new jail in this county. We need a new jail in this county. I don't want us to drop the ball on the jail. And I will be available if needed to do what I can do to help make that happen. I am committed, not to the county, but to the sheriff, to do whatever necessary, to go out and beat on doors, do whatever we got to do to get a new jail. We desperately need a new jail in Newton County. No ifs, ands, buts about it. He's struggling to put prisoners in different places, has been for quite some time. I know we tried to pass a bond a couple of years ago to do that. We didn't have any luck, but I think we need to reload and fire at it again to see if we can't make that jail happen. Let's not drop the ball on that. And like I say, I'm available to help in any way I can with that. And I guess that's about it.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. All right, we have Mr. David Lewis.
How y'all doing?
Doing pretty good. Yes, sir.
I'm going to talk to the honorable members of the Smith County Commissioner Court today about the district attorney. I tried to file criminal charges on somebody last year. I went by there twice. They told me that it wasn't their job to file a claim. I got copies of laws and stuff here. It says about the bonding. Bonding of a district attorney, city, county, state, or federal district attorney shall lose his bonding or shall not be bonded. I got 4 different rules. I can read them all off, or I can read the one I'm sitting on. If he fails or refuses to receive for filing a criminal complaint from a citizen against a citizen or an official. And they told me to tell me whether their job. Okay, district attorney does include a criminal district attorney. And we got official misconduct, which means intentional unlawful behavior related to an official duty by an officer entrusted with the administration of justice or the execution of the law. The term includes an intentional or corrupt failure, refusal, or neglect of an officer to perform a duty imposed on the officer by the law. The law says they're supposed to do it, but she ain't doing it, refused to do it. I mean, when somebody steals $8,000, what are you supposed to do? Supposed to go see the district attorney. They refused to even file paperwork on it. I know several other people have been by that same thing. I don't know what to say. I mean, other than I've taken this to the Attorney General's office in Texas. They sent me to a bar association, which was a joke. It was like if one of you guys is a lawyer and I pay you to defend me, and you drop the ball, that's what kind of paperwork they gave me to file. I think it's supposed to be with the commissioner's court, because y'all supposed to take care of these things. I mean, she lost her bonding by the simple words of it. I can give copies, or I can tell y'all the numbers of the law. Whatever y'all want to do. But Newton County needs a law enforcement agency back here. I mean, we got a sheriff here, he's got to do his job. He lives on everybody around here. That's a good thing. That's why most of us voted for him, because they don't know everybody around here. There ain't no more inside people getting papers because of who they are, what they've done. But district attorney, I mean, ain't the sheriff's job to go up there and file all these complaints and file these cases and then go take them there after he gets the case. You got an investigator sitting there, and Michael Lewis don't do nothing. I'm gonna watch you sitting there looking at his phone. It's dead. I don't know what y'all expect us to do. You have other options. I want to come in and see if the commissioner's court will take care of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. All right, we have David Kelly. Okay. So are you reserving the right to speak? Okay. All right. All right, I want, at this time, well, I'm going to leave the public hearing open for a little while in case you want to comment on the agenda item. All right. We got consent agenda on the minutes from the previous meeting. Except a statement of oath. Do we have anybody with any oaths to recognize? And in the monthly departmental reports. And then D is continuing education certificates. Do we have any of those? All right, we'll move right along. Okay, need a motion to accept the minutes and the monthly departmental reports.
I make the motion that we accept the consent agenda, the minutes, monthly reports.
All right, motion's made by Commissioner White,
I second.
second by Commissioner Benson. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion's passed. All right, now we're going to deliberate and consider action on the following items. To discuss and if appropriate, approve a budget amendment to move funds from record management and preservation to county clerk's payroll to make the following two changes. A is to change Angel Clark's position from chief deputy clerk to administrative assistant, and B, to change the records preservation clerk from part-time to a full-time position. And that's KK.
How are y'all? This is, here this morning to ask for a budget amendment. This is something that I've tried to do for a couple of years. It's been an ongoing thing with us. First, I want to touch on where the money would actually come from. It comes from our records management and preservation fees. These are not fees that are collected by tax dollars. These are fees that are collected by my office and Nikki Wyndham's, the district clerk's office, through court cases and through filings and other services that we offer through our office. So it is not, I'm not standing here this morning asking for anything from the general fund or from any tax dollars. These are dollars that we generate from services we provide. This was something that was implemented and they actually amended the local government code for small counties such as us that struggle, but it's to help us digitize our records, help us, redo the books if they need, if they're damaged, any kind of work that needs to be done on anything like that. I mean, this is what this money is for. I do have all of my clerks working on in their spare time. It's an ongoing process to try to keep all this stuff together. So each one of them could technically be defined as a records preservation and management clerk. The first position is Angel Parks. She is paid first deputy pay. She is actually my assistant for pretty much everything. She is the assistant vital record clerk. She's the vital registrar when I'm not available. She is the assistant election administrator. She helps with all of election related issues and getting the election together, making it happen. And she also maintains and has done so for the past, I think, 3-4 years. She maintains the county's entire website. And that's for any county office. We're the sole office that does anything with the county website. I personally feel like that all the duties and the responsibilities that is placed on her, that she deserves to be, bumped up to an administrative assistant. And when I say that, it's only going to change her pay right at $1,500 a year. So I mean, it's not like we're giving her, a huge raise, but every little thing will help. The second part of my request is I currently have a part-time person that is doing nothing but digitizing records and making indexes. She solely works on that. She will grab the phone if no one else is available, put them on hold, that kind of thing for us. But her sole position is to scan our records and to make indexes. We have not had a commissioner's court minute index since 2005. That's where it stops. So anytime we have to look up commissioner's court minutes, we're literally digging for them. So she's working currently on that. I would like to move money from that fund, which is dedicated funds, over to the payroll side and amend that so I can bump her up to full-time and have her constantly doing this instead of just for 29 hours. So that's my two requests. And I will, reiterate that it is not asking for anything out of the general funds. This is funds that we generate on a daily basis. I actually can tell you what we generated last year. Well, actually from 2019 through the end of last year. For preservation, we generated $83,380. My archive fee, I generated $82,130. From those services into the general fund, which is used by the entire county. My recording fees alone with the copies generated from 2019 to the end of last year, $272,847.19. That is just one service that my office provides. To give you some figures. So we are constantly on a daily basis generating money for the county and also for those dedicated funds. The question was asked, what happens when those funds run out? We're every day generating funds to put in there, and we put in funds every month.
So that would have been my question. Is it something that's continuing, that, the funds won't eventually run out or do away with the fees to where the county will have to pick it up?
No, so we're generating every day, every recording, every document, every mark and brand that we register, anything that's like that, we're collecting that $5 fee that goes into those dedicated funds. And it's very specific of what I can use those funds for. I can't use them to buy, just furniture or anything like that for the office or anything. It's very specific to what those funds are dedicated for.
Okay, so those funds can be used.
Yes, sir. I can use that to secure a position to digitize and scan. And that's what I have. I'm not creating a new position. I'm just moving a part-time to a full-time, if approved. And I'm not hiring outside. I've already got a person that is working, so I'm not making anything new. I'm just changing what I've already got.
And if I understand, she understands if the fund does deplete,
Yes.
she knows she's out the door.
Yes. It's best if it reaches a point to where the funds are no longer available, then.
Okay.
Judge, I have a question. So these funds, you mentioned your office and the district clerk's office. What about the JP's offices? Do they generate funds that go into these?
If they do, they're not contributed to this fund. Nikki and I are the only two that put money in this fund.
So is the records preservation and the records management two different funds?
Yes.
And when you give these numbers of $436,000, do you have any idea how much of that your office generated versus Nikki's?
That's just my office is what the numbers I give you. We could do a report for Nikki as well to show. Nikki doesn't generate near what I do because hers are specific to, she does not pull cases. She doesn't do the reporting for the property side of it. The bulk of mine is property. That's like yesterday, copies alone, we wrote a receipt for 511. We made 511 copies for one thing yesterday. And that goes into the general fund.
So of this $436,000, how much of it can be used in the general fund for whatever needs the county has?
For the general funds?
Yeah, so we talked about RP and that money not being able to be used for anything other than records retention, but you give these numbers of 436,000 that you generated. How much of that 436,000 is available to the judge and to the court to maintain the county in the general fund?
The number that I give you for my office alone, the $272,847.19, that goes into the general fund.
Okay.
That's what I generated to put, yes, from 2019 until the end of last year. And that's just on one service. That's not, I didn't do the whole entire, every single thing we do, I didn't add that up. That's the biggest things we do is the recording of copies.
So the general fund, over 3 years, you got 272 that went into the general fund.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned 82,000
That goes into the records preservation and management.
and the 83.
That's the dedicated, and that's the other fund.
So over 3 years, you've got 160,000 that's not available to the general fund. Is that correct?
It's dedicated funds for records preservation and management.
So, okay, so it's roughly 50-something thousand a year.
She's actually doing one of that.
Anybody have any further discussion?
Well, yeah, I do. So if this person is made full-time employee, so their total package will be how much?
She would be third deputy.
Her daddy's at 40-something thousand with insurance. She's already getting 20-something thousand of that already.
Yeah, she's already being paid out of those funds.
Out of those funds, right now.
And if she's made full-time, it'll still come out of these funds.
Yes, sir.
It will not come out of anything that is tax dollar. Nothing. It comes strictly from the fees from the services that are provided.
And you mentioned that some of the employees in your office also do records retention.
All of them can be classified and considered, because that's what we do on a daily basis.
So some of that, how much of that 160,000 over the last 3 years could we have used for their payroll versus general fund money?
There is one supplement, it's a small supplement, that we do transfer over to payroll to supplement for one of the full-time employees.
And this is for the money also for Angela Center.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess for the court, my concern is, is when we say it can't be used for anything other than this, if we're saying that everybody in the office does record retention, and we're talking about coming up on a budget cycle where we're going to be hard pressed for money.
Well, that was budget time where I was gonna go with that with Nikki. Is take a look at that and see what we can do with it. We're trying to do the new budget.
So right now, how much is in this fund, the RP fund?
It's 144,000.
144,000.
We do most everything in-house. We've been doing that for a long time, so we've supplemented and saved lots of money by doing things ourselves.
Which is what we should all be doing.
Well,
So,
and one of the biggest things was, we got to a point to where our big books and our big indexes needed to be scanned. One of the title companies was very, very good to us, and they allowed us to borrow their huge scanner so we could scan those documents and those indexes. So I didn't have to purchase one, because that would be all I would be buying one for, was just to do that. And once we were done scanning, we wouldn't need that, scanner anymore. So, we have tried to do stuff like that to cut costs, and we have. And like I said, most of the stuff is done in-house, so we're not outsourcing or spending a lot on trying to get any of this stuff.
I guess the only concern I have as a court member, when we say we're not increasing the budget or we're not changing, I mean, at the end of the day, the $160,000 or the $144,000 that's in there, when it gets to budget time, if that money's still in there, that's available to be used in your office to pay some of your other employees, correct?
Exactly.
So that could lighten the load on the court when it
Well,
comes to.
that's kind of where I was going, but I hadn't got a chance to talk with Nikki about it, because, her part-time as well could come out of there. And so she could actually have in addition. So And like I said, we're constantly generating from the fees, so we're constantly putting money in there.
I just don't look at it as like you're making money. I mean, we're generating money, but that's the purpose of your office. So it's not like you're doing something above and beyond what your office is described to do.
Right.
So if we say, oh, we got $144,000, we can go ahead and add another person and it won't cost the taxpayers anything. It will cost them something if we have to supplement that office when we could have used some of that $144,000 come budget time to pay office employees.
Right, and I'm open to that, but like I said, that was gonna be something for budget time, because this is kind of new development. We're still learning how all this stuff works.
I guess for me, I just speak, Judge, if you could, I have concern and reservations about changing. We say we're not changing the budget, but the fact of the matter, we are changing the positions in the budget, because this was a part-time position in the budget, right?
Yes.
So we would be changing the fact that it would be a budget change.
It's a budget.
And we can say it's not taxpayers' money, but it is taxpayers' money. I mean, that office is funded by taxpayers and money's going into that office. It belongs to the taxpayers. Now, if it's in an account that we have to be smart with come budget cycle and use that to fund that office, that's what we should do. But that's just where I'm at.
Is that, how much we said, what, 5% or what was it that go out of money that you're collected that's designated, or is that a governmental code or something that?
Yes. It's
That's out of our control.
Yes.
That's what she's trying to, the point that she's trying to prove is that
right.
that's not in our control as far
It
as.
can only be used for certain things. I mean, just like, the commissioners have dedicated funds.
Oh,
You
they-
can only use it for certain things.
I get that, but we're doing a supplement to our office. So when you say, well, that money can only be used for certain things in your office, but then we're putting this other money in there with it. If we cut that money back, that money that would have to be used for certain things, all those clerks are doing some of those duties. So some of that money could be used for each clerk's payroll, right?
It could.
Is that making sense to you, Philip?
Well, I mean, we're budgeting right now. The other clerks, I don't know, she didn't bring them into the equation because nothing is changing with them, in my opinion. Nothing is changing with those other clerks, regardless of whether we pass or veto it or whatever. Nothing changes with the other clerks. It's just this one. And I kind of understand where you're coming from as far as the big picture, but we putting those other clerks in, and though we're cutting them short or we're going to add more to them, but we're not adding anything to them. She's not asking for anything with the other clerks. It's just that one that she wanted to promote or move up.
I guess I probably wasn't clear. It's just when I look at these numbers and I hear what KK's saying today, I realized something that I didn't know before is that money that office generates in these duties can also be used next year in budget cycle to help create the budget for that office.
Not the dedicated money, huh? Isn't the dedicated money dedicated for that office, management,
It can be used in as, part of their payroll.
on their payroll?
Yes. So there's 144 there next year. So if we say a budget, what'd you say a clerk's salary is 40-some-odd thousand? So that's 120,000. You can almost fund that entire office out of that RP fund.
Well, it's shared with Nikki, so we would, we'd have to really look at that.
Yeah, but it'd be like a workshop figured out.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, you told us you had 82 and 83, right? Your part, right?
In those two.
Not shared with Nikki.
No,
That's what my office has put in there.
But there's 144 left in there now, right?
Yes, and
That's
I
pretty,
give you the figure of the 272,847. That does go in the general fund.
Right.
That's just to show you some of the services, that's what we're contributing to overall to the general fund for use for the entire county.
Which is the purpose of the office.
Yes.
It's like the tax assessor coming in and saying, I collected $8 million for you guys. Well, that's the purpose of the tax assessor's office.
You did say Angel was, doing the extra.
Yes, Tony, she's, like I said, she is my election administrator, assistant election administrator. She does the entire county website. She is the assistant voter registrar, well, not voter registrar, but she works, we've got a specific title for teams to work with voter registration. She's the assistant there. She's the assistant for vital records. So in the event that I'm not there, she can actually sign off on a vital record to have that recorded.
So I guess, we need a motion to change Angel Clark's position from chief deputy to administrative assistant and to change records preservation clerk from part-time to a full-time position.
Can you have one without the other? I mean, I would just, if the court was going to make motions for such as that, can we break those independently?
We can need a motion to change Angel Clark's position from chief deputy county clerk to administrative assistant.
I'll make that motion,
Motion made by Commissioner White,
$1,600 a year.
Second.
second by Commissioner Benson. All in favor? All against? Okay. Item B on this is to change records preservation clerk from a part-time position to a full-time position.
You've been behind since '05?
We have no commissioners court indexes since 05. When I took over in 2012, we were about 8 years behind. We've got those caught up, putting them together, and she's scanning those now, but we're still working on trying to get an index and to get caught up with all of that. Current stuff is good, but it's past stuff.
That's all she does.
That's all she's doing, yes, sir.
She understands if the funds runs out,
We've had that discussion, yes, sir.
I make that motion.
Okay, motion is made by Commissioner Benson. I'll go ahead and second that motion. All in favor? All against? I'm in favor, so. So who, we had two. I'll vote for, yes.
You voted no?
Other two.
I don't know whether to say aye when you say against or nay, so forgive my, is it a nay or
Hey, nay.
nay?
Okay,
Against 10, I think. I got it down.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, I guess, I'm new to this court, but I would hope that you and others out there would know that when we make these decisions, we're making them with the best of interest of the county, and there's nothing personal involved in this.
I would not want to be sitting making the decisions because I know some of them was difficult to make.
Okay, item number 2
Personal decisions.
is discuss and if appropriate, authorize the county clerk to publish notice to conduct a public hearing on county clerk's record management and record archive written plan for fiscal year 2023, 2024.
Yes, sir. This is something that's required. It goes kind of hand in hand with those funds. We're supposed to have a written plan of what we're doing with those funds. It basically doesn't change because we're constantly indexing, scanning, and digitizing. So I just need y'all to authorize me to publish that for 2 weeks. And then the way that that works is we'll have a public hearing like we do from the start of court to receive any questions about the plan. And then if there's no public comment, we'll close the public hearing, and then y'all can either accept or reject my plan through Commissioner's Court. It's just something that we have to do.
Okay. I guess we need a motion to authorize the county clerk to publish notice to conduct a public hearing on the management and records archive written plan.
I make that motion, Judge.
Motion made by Commissioner Powell,
Second.
second by Commissioner Fomby. All in favor? All nay?
All right, got it. Thank y'all.
Motion is passed. Okay, item number 3 is advanced funding agreement amendment for bridge replacement or rehabilitation of off the state system amendment. Is for number 1 for precinct 3. Fomby?
I didn't get anything on that, but I know what it's about. I believe it's on the first bridge that we did for Plum Creek. I had some forced labor that we was gonna, that precinct 3 was gonna have to do for 3 years for that bridge replacement. And they had come back, and I don't think I have to.
I think this is where they agreed to pay 100%.
100%.
100%. So we just had to do another,
Correct.
we had to amend the funding agreement.
The first one was precinct 3 had certain obligations.
Yes,
they
we had
to
a
meet
match.
over the 3 years that they had allowed me to do that, and they had come back to me and said they was trying to change that. And apparently they have
Okay.
come up with that. So now I don't have any funding whatsoever coming out of precinct 3.
Yeah, this come in Thursday or Friday, I think, last weekend. I apologize for not getting it to you.
That's okay. It's better for me.
Yeah.
I don't care who got it.
So,
But precinct 3 was gonna have to come up with $42,000 over the next 3 years to be able to get one of those $1 million bridges
yes.
replaced. So
So they have come back and agreed to fund it 100%.
100%.
And this is the, amendment to the agreement.
Right.
I need a motion to.
Hey, can I ask a question? Why did they change? Did somebody do something to get them to change?
Yes,
Who was that?
Yes, we met a threshold. The county met a disaster threshold. And we didn't meet it when we first started it because it's been going on for 3 or 4 years. It got down to it. And once we did meet that threshold, that disaster threshold, they come back and said it was 100% funded, that we wasn't.
So does that change any other funding out there, or is that something we can ask someone? Because
Absolutely.
I got 2 grants and I got to pay 25% of them roads.
This is only TxDOT.
Okay.
This is, TxDOT is bringing, TxDOT does our off-road bridge system.
Good try.
Well,
It's a good try.
Yeah, this is through TxDOT.
Through TxDOT.
okay.
Totally.
So over the next couple of years, precinct 3 should be getting 2 bridges for roughly $1 million apiece.
That's Plum.
No cost.
Plum.
That is correct.
At no cost.
No cost.
Yes.
Somehow we ought to publicize that out there to the public.
Okay.
Maybe that new Facebook page.
So I need a motion to accept the funding agreement amendment.
Make that motion.
I need motions made by Commissioner White,
I second.
seconded by Commissioner Fomby. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion's passed. All right. Item number 4 is discuss and take action regarding county mechanics position. This is on mine. There's been some discussion amongst commissioners about, are we actually saving money with the mechanics position? there's some things that he's not able to do. They're still having to take to outside repair shops. So, the question is, are we actually saving money with his salary plus benefits for the county?
So is this something we can go into closed session and discuss, or is that not an option, or do we have to have that on the agenda to be able to do that?
I'm not sure on that.
I know Courtney's not here.
Yeah, I'm online. You can go into
Okay, I'm
executive
sorry.
session about it.
Okay, we can't go into executive session and discuss this?
Yes, you can.
And you state it's personnel matters.
Okay.
Save it to
We're
last.
gonna go into
Save it to last.
Okay, we're gonna move this to the last one. We'll also move number 5 to the last one.
Good.
Yep. Okay, we're gonna skip 4 and 5 and go to number 6. Discuss and if appropriate, approve interlocal corporation or agreement with Hardin County to house overflow inmates. And this is kind of touching on what Mark was saying this morning about needing the jail. And this is Sheriff Bourbon.
Good morning, all.
Morning.
Good morning.
This is an interlocal agreement that with Hardin County. Talked to Sheriff Davis about it. This is the same agreement that we have with Jasper County Jail, Sheriff Newman, and housing our prisoners, overflow. Right now, actually, we can hold 12. We can hold a little bit more by putting them in the, they call it the drunk tank. But anyway, right now we have 21 inmates in our custody, and 7 of those are in Jasper. Jasper is also outsourced. They have their inmates from other counties as well. So, and inmates with particular needs seem like ours have those needs. But we can only send so many people over there, so many females. And when we have an old burden of females, a number of females, we can only hold so many. Like the current rate is $40 per inmate per day, which is a bargain. It's the same rate that Jasper has with us, and Hardin County has agreed to do the same thing. They've already taken this agreement for their judge and commissioners. Okay, they did that last week. So this is a good rate. Now I can say today that with things with the economy like this, these agreements are only good for 1 year. God knows how much they're going to go up to. They're probably going to go up a little bit next year. But this agreement is good for a year. The one we have in Jasper is good for a year. It's coming up for renewal this year. So with that said, we do have a lot of inmates that come and go that have various needs. And to be able to handle those needs, we must have space to put them. And by getting approval for Hardin County to give us the flexibility to do that, and it's not that very far away. One of the things in the jail business, a lot of folks don't know, we have to do a lot of transporting to various places around the state. With our inmates who have to go to TDC or other areas and or hospitals, mental hospitals. So you should have a copy of this in front of you. The rate is $40 per inmate per day, which is good, good rate. And like I said before, we can only put so many in our jail on the jail standard. And we encounter all different kinds of situations daily with inmates and inmate needs. Any questions? Sir?
You stated female, and I think a lot of folks don't understand or don't know the fact that when you dealing with females, it takes more space.
Yeah.
That's I wanted to clarify that for the public.
Yeah. The state of Texas has seen an influx of females being incarcerated. and it's alarming. But one of the things that we're working on, we as sheriffs, people like yourselves, is the mental health issue. That's another avenue that we're working, is drastically impacting jails. You know, jails are not a mental institution or a place to house mental patients. You know, I was in a Berkshire meeting a couple of weeks ago, and one of the sheriffs in neighboring county referred to his inmates as patients. And I think that's sad, but it's true. So we're burdened with that. We're dealing with it. We're working with legislators and judges, you know, and we've been convening such. And it's not an overnight fix, but we got to deal with this right now. And this is one of the ways we can deal with it, having the space to put these folks to make sure they don't harm themselves or others. And that's what we're helping them with that.
Is it a consensus that the drugs are causing, is a major cause of the increase in mental issues across the sheriff and what y'all see?
Yeah, what drugs definitely contribute to it. What we've seen, people may have some issues with mental illness, what have you, and getting on drugs, taking drugs, illicit drugs, illegal drugs, tend to soothe their pain per se, and they get hooked on it. And as a term that we use, they get burnt. You know, it really affects their mind. You know, I've dealt with some folks that really, they had some issues, prior issues, mental health issues. Now they have an addiction issue with methamphetamine. And it impairs their ability to make good decisions. We're able to get maybe 1 out of 3 people help. But one of the things that impacts that, do they want help? You know, and we run into roadblocks. We just can't snatch people up and take them and get evaluated. Get them evaluated under certain constraints, but if they answer questions such as, I mean, do you feel like harming yourself? No. Do you feel like harming someone else? No. You have to release them. Then they commit a crime, then that's a different story. That's the criminal justice. That's a criminal. And then we arrest them, and then they go before that assessment, and they find that, well, need to be higher level of care, or they got charged. Then we have to go back. Certain facilities will not take patients if they have charges. So it's it is a big problem that we have to address each one individually, because it has its own different caveats when you're dealing with people. So there is no magic bullet. Like, for better term, we're dealing with these issues, so we just have to deal with them individually. And space is a big thing, because we can't just let them go out, you know, on their own, especially when they start committing crimes.
All right. I need a motion to approve the interlocal cooperation agreement with Hardin County.
Judge, I make the motion that we approve the interlocal cooperation agreement with Hardin County.
Motion is made by Commissioner Powell,
Second.
second by Commissioner White. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? All right, motion's passed. All right, number 7. We need to approve the American Red Cross proclamation. And do we have anybody here from the Red Cross? Okay, I guess I'm gonna read it. It says, during American Red Cross Month in March, we celebrate the humanitarian spirit of Newton County and reaffirm our commitment to help ensure no one faces a crisis alone. Caring for one another is at the heart of our community and exemplified by the people of Newton County, whose simple acts of kindness through the Red Cross provide help and hope in people's most difficult moments. Continuing the life-saving legacy of Clara Barton, who founded the organization more than 140 years ago. And, every day these ordinary individuals lend a helping hand to make an extraordinary difference for the neighbors in need, whether it's providing emergency shelter, food, comfort for families displaced by home fires or other disasters, donating life-saving blood for cancer patients, accident victims, and people with sickle cell diseases and other life-threatening conditions, supporting military members and veterans along with their family and caregivers through the unique challenge of service using vital skills like first aid, CPR to help others survive medical emergencies, or delivering international humanitarian aid and reconnecting loved ones separated by crisis around the world. Their support, volunteers, and generous donations are critical to our community's resilience. We hereby recognize this month of March in honor of all those who fulfill Clara Barton's noble words. You must never think of anything except the need and how to meet it, and ask everyone to join in this commitment. Now, therefore, I, Ronald J. Cochran, Newton County Judge, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of Newton County, do hereby proclaim March 23rd as Red Cross Month. I encourage all citizens of Newton County to reach out and support this humanitarian mission. So, March is Red Cross Month.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Fomby,
Second.
second by Commissioner White. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? All right. All right. Item number 8. Discuss and if appropriate, approve to change County Road 2034 to private road in Precinct 2. Philip White.
Okay, we have with us in the audience, Mr. and Mrs. Simmons that reside on County Road 2034, which is North 87. It's a loop up where the former Wayne Powell loop, a lot of us know of. And Mrs. and Mr. Simmons has resided in that area for a while, a long time. Anyhow, they come to me about 2 years ago and asked me about changing that road to a private road because of the fact that they have a lot of looters and strangers come, and I don't know if they just like a quick place to hide out or do their business or whatever. But anyhow, I have some drawings over some earth maps here, and I found out later that Commissioner Powell, Wayne Powell, was Mr. Bubba Powell's, Commissioner Powell's uncle. And so the family owns that property adjacent to the Simmons. And he wrote a letter with his approval and recommendation that we close the road also. Of course, we had we talked with Lloyd Pearson's at 911 that assigned addresses, and I wasn't aware that we had a couple. It's an old logging road, looked like a little dim road that goes into a timber company, which is a private road 6022. And we have private road 6021, which goes through Mr. Powell's property. But the 911 person, Mr. Parsons, informed me that if we close that whole road, we would be closing off that little private road to the timber company, and Ms. and Mr. Simmons are not concerned. Well, like I said, it's a complete loop, so it's not like we're closing off the timber company's entry to their property. But there's a concern because that little road don't go all the way out to 87, so to speak. The county road sign that comes off of 87 on that north end of the loop, it is still considered a county road, so we have to revisit that and figure out what we can, because they're planning on putting some gates up, and that's the issue, is that once they put the gates up where there's no more through traffic. And so I would recommend we table that at this time and try to readdress it when we get some clarity, and maybe I can contact someone from the timber company and see if they have a concern and that kind of thing. I want to be sure before we, make that motion to close the road.
Well,
But we do want
the
to.
private road is right when you turn off of that loop.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Can we
saying.
close the section from where the private road turns off back around to the other?
Yeah,
part of the loop?
and
Because that still leaves them access to the private
Right,
road.
exactly. And that's what I'm saying, is that we need to put this on the agenda. Agenda say close the road.
Okay.
So it means all the way to 87, from 187 to 180 to the other.
Okay.
So what we have to do is decide how many feet from the 87 on the north end of the loop, put that on the agenda, write it down exactly like we're doing so it'll be proper and correct. And meanwhile, I'm going to contact the timber company and see if there's some real issues there, because, they could consider, if that was my property, I would say, well, you're closing the county road, how I'm gonna get to my property, it's easy to, sorry. I'm sorry, you want,
Yes. She wanted to address the court.
okay.
I was going to talk to you about that. Every time that they've come up and they've cleared the land, they've come up on that, what you were talking about. They never come on they don't actually come on 2034. They actually come up, I have my glasses on, but they come up, when you turn on that north end,
Mm-hmm.
their road's right here and then ours goes. So it never bothers them. They don't.
I know, but what Commissioner White said, if we vote to make it a private road, it would be all the way to the end to 87.
Yeah.
So we have to get okay from the timber company.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're saying. That little dirt road that turns go in there before we get to the county road, well, that's what they use a lot of times. But I want to make sure, let them, inform them that we're fixing to make that a private road. And if they are, it's not hindering them from getting in, because they use the dirt part about all the time anyway. So I just want to inform them. And we want to write it in here, how many feet from that 87 loop, north 87. And so we'll be proper and correct on what we are voting on. Okay?
Okay, I need a motion to table this for further
Judge,
discussion.
if you don't mind, I'm sorry, this is Courtney real quick. Just a suggestion, I don't think that it should be tabled. I think you should just let it pass, because tabling it means that it's going to come back up at another meeting in its same form. And I don't think it's coming back in its same form because it's the incorrect county road number. And it's going to be a whole different issue with it being a number of feet instead of the whole road. So I think just take no action on it and move on to the next item.
All right, thank you, Courtney.
Uh-huh.
So we'll take no action on this one, number 8.
Thank you,
Go ahead.
Okay, item number 9 is discuss and if appropriate, approve refund in the amount of $14,943.46 to USA Waste Management Resources, LLC for overpayment of taxes on property.
Okay, Melissa, are you online? Melissa? She had, there's an emergency with one of the employees in her office. She couldn't be here, but she's Waste Management overpaid, $14,943.46 in taxes this year. This is nothing new. We've had one last quarter. It's kind of this time of the year, you'll notice tax statements. Some of them come from Illinois, some come from different locations. Citizens Illinois. And what happens is different locations, they end up overpaying. So, and there was 14,943.46 that was overpaid by USA Waste Management Resources that we need to reimburse.
Where's Melissa?
Court, this is Shannon. Hey,
Is
Miss
Melissa-
Melissa's going to a computer with a mic. She wants to make a comment.
She just told me she was online. I mean, she just texted me and said she was online. Do you see her?
I think she's getting on Tracy's computer now where there's a microphone.
Okay.
I can see her, but let me see if
Tracy? She's muted.
Yeah.
They will. I can pay the taxes on your property. I can pay the practice. I can't tax you.
Legal for me to call on the phone and put it on speakerphone? Thank you. Can I just call on my phone and put it on speakerphone? Can I legally do that?
Well, let's just, I mean, you got the paperwork.
Yeah, I
We
have
gotta
all the
reimburse
paperwork
them.
and it's from different locations and it's $14,000.
Yeah.
943. This actually came up at last court and she said she was gonna bring it this court.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's the last
We don't have to talk to her.
Okay, I just wanna mention.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion is made by Commissioner Palmy. Second by Commissioner Benson. All in favor? Aye. All against? Motion's passed. Okay. This one, number 10, is discuss and if appropriate, approve waiver of penalties and interest on property ID 44-185 for tax year 2022. Now, this is,
Ronnie, you know about this one?
yes,
Okay.
this is on, people who's paid their property on time for, we got many years of history. They sent their property taxes and it went to the appraisal. Their check was at the appraisal district. They didn't know that until they got a letter from the attorney that their taxes wasn't paid. And so they were asking to get their penalties reduced. And I think it's like $33 or get their
$33.53.
get their penalties wiped away, because they have such a good payment history on the taxes. And they've paid the taxes, but the check was at the appraisal district tax office.
Is that accumulation or is that just the 1 year? Just
1 year.
22? What changed? I
Never been
wonder.
late before.
They've been paying all them years.
Yeah, it's never been late, and it was sent on time, it was mailed on 1/24. It just was sitting at the wrong tax office. Am I correct by saying that?
Yes.
Yes.
So they ask if, Melissa's asking if penalties can be waived, if the court can waive their penalties.
If we waive their penalty, I mean, we got people all over the county with penalties, I'm sure, right? I mean, is this gonna,
Precedent.
yeah,
It would set a precedent.
I mean, to me, taxes are pretty important. You need to make sure you send them to the right place. You need to make sure they got there and they were paid on time or paid the penalty.
There's one.
I'm not,
I'm not neither. They wouldn't waive mine.
So
They wouldn't waive
we're
yours
trying
neither.
to, we're on item number, waiving the penalty.
Okay, all right. The Geralds have, we have 10 years of history. Excuse me. They've always paid on time. They've always paid the appraisal district on time. They sent their, Miss Gerald came in, she received a letter from the delinquent tax attorneys they sent in February, toward the end of February. She said, Ms. Burks, I paid this, I sent the check, I have a copy of it. you know, where I sent it, the appraisal district received theirs, y'all didn't, I guess you didn't receive yours. And she checked her bank, said it never went through. So she homeschools, she is available, there's a phone number, she is available if y'all would like to speak with her. But she and her husband are willing to pay the taxes, but not the penalty and interest. So, anyway. Any questions?
So was the check dated the right date?
Yes, sir, her carbon was. I should have kept a copy of her carbon, I didn't, it was kind of, yes, sir.
Did she send it to your office or send them both to Ms. Harris?
No, she sent it to my office. She has a stellar record of payment, you know, but this is totally up to the court. It's $33 and some change. But like I said, if y'all would like to speak with her, she homeschools, and then that is why I'm standing in her place. But,
Well, there was some questions
and her
before you
not
came
being
in,
here,
before you
Okay.
came in about,
yeah.
if we do this for one, are we setting a precedent for everybody?
Yeah, they've done it over the years, for certain things, and you're right, it's a valid point. It's a valid point.
So was
Very
it,
few
so
have-
was it our,
It's the mail.
did we cause that?
No, I mean, we didn't receive it in the mail.
Okay.
We did not receive it in the mail.
Okay, I thought it was at
I
March's
thought that was
office.
my desk.
No. We did not receive it in the mail.
Oh,
We didn't cause it. She did. Would y'all like to speak with her? No? Okay.
So it was mail from her house,
Yeah, when she sent the appraisal district.
and it never did reach your office,
Right, it never reached the office.
And she never got it back.
and she never got it back.
No,
That's weird.
And it didn't go to Ms. Harris' office?
no.
okay, I misunderstood. I was thinking it was at Ms. Harron's office.
That's a
No,
little different story.
Ms. Herron received the school.
She received
They
hers,
received their payment.
but you never received.
Right. You know, I'm just saying,
Well,
I included her history, so you can see that she has a record of, they have a record, Eric and his wife have a record of always paying on time.
so if the check never cleared the bank, she should have saw that on her bank statement.
Right, we were still processing some January when she came in, and, so, you know,
If she did come in January.
no, in February, we're short-staffed, and so, we were processing January mail in the middle of February, so I can,
The only problem I can see with that is, even though, she paid it on time,
right,
it's not our responsibility if the postal service
no, right.
didn't get it, we set the precedence for anybody can write a date on a check. And, well, you know how people are, so, and that's my only concern about it. I know they have a great payment history.
I can't see Miss Gerald writing a payment on a check, a day.
I know,
No way, there's no way that Miss Gerald would do that.
I know, I'm not saying she
And
would.
there's very few people over the years that I have stood here for, but I will stand for Miss Gerald. Y'all have no idea the people that I turn away and say, you can go over to the judge's office. You can get on there. She homeschools, that's why I've said y'all can call her. She's waiting for a call.
So what was the postmark on the envelope?
Well, it's lost in the mail, apparently, so I know that it was dated January 24th.
So you've not seen the check at all?
No. No.
Okay, so,
I've never, okay. 2 checks were mailed by Miss Gerald, same post office. The appraisal district received theirs. The county tax office did not receive theirs. But I will tell y'all, there are, right, I don't stand, or I do not put anything lightly on, ask to put it on the agenda lightly.
let me ask you something, Ms.
Okay.
Ms. Burks. If we're basically, what you're asking us for today is to waive the penalties.
Miss Gerald's asking, I'm standing for her, that's why I've offered for y'all to contact her. But anyway, go ahead.
Was that something that could have been took care of in your office?
No, I cannot, I don't have the authority. Some tax assessors do have that authority. It's a judgment call. But,
So the ones you don't bring to us, you're making that judgment, not to bring
no,
them.
I offer them to go across to the judge's office and they say, never mind. I say, you can go. Now, Ms. Gerald homeschools. I saw her record, I searched it, so I did tell her because she's homeschooling, we would call her by speakerphone, on a cell phone, but I would go, I would stand for her, physically stand for her. I guess I should have.
Well, if the check was dated
myself.
January the 24th, you said?
Yes.
Both of them checks was probably wrote the same day, correct?
Yeah.
They was probably sent the same day.
Right.
Margie received one and you did not receive the
Right.
other. I can see where she tried her best to get it there in plenty of time.
Right.
Not like me, wait till the last minute. And run down there and hope the door's still unlocked. Is that not true?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But I wasn't going to tell that. It's a
So-
court. This is totally up to the court.
So we need a motion to approve the waiver of penalties and interest on property ID 44-185 in the amount of $33 and, was it 50 cents? $33.53.
Judge, if I could I ask our county attorney what her thoughts are on this?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Courtney, did you hear that?
I did hear it, and my thoughts are, on one hand, I agree you're setting a precedence for other people to say, not that I don't believe Miss Gerald, but for other people to say, well, I mailed mine, it must have got lost in the mail. So I just, the same with, I think it might have been Mr. Kelly or maybe Mr. I don't remember who it was, about paying out comp time. We've set a precedence there that we're going to keep revisiting. And the same with this. We're going to keep revisiting this with people who say theirs was lost in the mail. That's my only thoughts on it, because I think it does set a precedence. And I'm sorry, but I do believe her, but
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I would say that
we're not
people
saying
should.
we don't believe her, but just,
Oh, no.
Right.
we're just worried about, future,
I think that people take that risk by mailing it, not taking it in person or send it certified. And so I can see, even Miss Burks has said that it happens fairly often. And so I don't think that we can, that's just my opinion. Do it for one, plan on doing it for anybody else that says that they're got lost in the mail.
okay, go ahead, Doug.
So,
Everybody knows I'm a chief Irishman and I hate the red tape and the bureaucracy. But if you were sending in something to the IRS and they didn't have a postmarked letter saying they received it, it would not have been received and it would not be waived. And a dollar's a dollar, and I hate giving up a dollar, and I hate to see anybody else be caught in that. But as a legal entity, if you don't have proof of you've got it in your possession, it wasn't paid.
And I want you guys to understand, I'm standing for Ms. Gerald, that's why I asked y'all.
Yes.
We have her number, you know, call her.
And we understand, it's just, we're worried about setting a precedent for,
No, I mean, she's waiting on a phone call to see, yeah. So
Well, I don't think it's the court's responsibility to call her during open session to talk about.
I should have brought my phone in.
No, I mean, I don't think that's something we would want to start doing, is talking to
Okay,
constituents over the phone during the court session.
all right. Because she homeschools, that's the only reason I'm here.
If I'm not mistaken, I heard the word say, he has already stood here in the past and done this very thing, so the precedent has already been set in the past. So I think it carries over, so the precedent would be a moot point to what has already been influenced before by the county.
okay.
That's just my opinion.
You know, to me, the precedent has been set by, you know, past administration. So, you know, going forward, you know, we don't want to set a new precedent of doing that.
Okay.
So.
The only thing, I'm on the fence about it because she wrote the checks the same day with the same date.
Right.
And I don't think there's no way to check to see if if your check actually got there. And no, until one of y'all actually open it, correct? Help me if don't let me say something out of the way. We go down and pay you personally.
Right.
Because we got a stack of them.
Yeah.
We're not sending just one, okay? So we have to thumb through ours and do, it's a little bit different than what most of your household people are.
Right.
It's just, it's hard. I guess it's hard for me she didn't know it was late until you opened up the mail and realized that it wasn't there. She didn't realize that.
But she got.
And she said, you just sat here and told me that you run into February before you ever open them. So she didn't know that she didn't pay those until you actually realized that her payment wasn't in the mail.
Well, she wouldn't realize until she either got the notice from the tax attorney or got the receipt back from.
Right.
Posted in January last week.
So I'm kind of, that's kind of a gray area for me.
Well, we keep using the word realize. Realize is on me. See what I'm saying? If you got a mail in black and white letter there, I didn't know it until I read it. So she didn't know it at the time. But she, you know, what I'm saying, the word realize, make it seem like, you know, well, I just had a loss of mind. I just realized that I should have sent it in. But she did. If you got a copy saying she sent it in on the 24th.
She came in with her children when she received, the delinquent tax attorneys asked for a tax. They sent out to everyone that was late.
Yeah. Well,
She came
in this case, the bottom line is that the lady tried to get it there. She just didn't follow up. She's a nice lady. She used to do it on time and all these good things. And my heart would say, let her have it. But going forward, like you say, you got what, 11,999 other people out there in the county that hearing about this, and you got, some of them are not gonna be honest. And that's what the judge is saying.
in.
Yes.
And we.
It is totally the court's decision.
Which one?
It's totally the court's decision.
I guess the problem I'm having with it is the court's looking at this isolated case. I mean, if we're gonna bring one to the court, we ought to bring them all to the court or none to the court, right? I mean, you said that there's other,
They can all come to the court.
but somebody put this, she didn't put this on the agenda.
No, I did it for her. I did it.
I mean, I'm just saying, if we vote, if you did this for her as an elected official, why didn't you do it for the other people that was late? That's what trap
Because they have their history. I look at their history.
So you made that as a judgment call.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's a judgment. I look at their history. I mean, if
She wouldn't do it.
there was one I didn't bring,
Well, that's what he just said. What he just said is what we're gonna fall
I can't
into.
hear.
Yeah.
He said you wouldn't do it for him.
No, that's not true.
Well,
Unless
I've got the delinquent tax. No.
if you have delinquent taxes and your history, your payment history is not stellar, no, I won't. You're right, I won't come for you.
You're not a stellar payer.
No, I'm not stellar.
Since we have stellar.
I'm just
I've
saying, everybody knows. Everybody's probably looked at my taxes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've got
no
you
secret.
across the road with some social staff. But do y'all have any other questions?
No, I still think like Mr. Kelly, if we don't have a documentation
I understand.
showing it, I mean, in my opinion, I mean, I feel sorry for the lady,
I understand.
But also too, I want you to remember what she said. If I would have mailed mine in later in January, then it would have been February before Melissa would have sent me a receipt saying, Gary, your taxes are paid. So I think just want you to, she didn't know they wasn't paid.
Yeah, there are a lot,
She didn't know.
there are a lot of.
She did not know until she relieved the delinquent.
She didn't know they weren't paid, but she didn't know they were paid. And
That's
it's the
correct.
responsibility of the taxpayer to make sure your taxes are paid on time. She should have made sure they were paid on time. I'm not in favor of the refund. That's where I'm at as a.
Okay, I guess I'll ask for a motion to approve the waiver of penalties on property ID 44-185. Okay, so no motion, so we'll take no action.
I will say, Commissioner Powell made a good point. I won't come for anyone else. They'll come for themselves, whoever it is.
I think
That would be the best way to do it.
Yeah.
You
I've
know-
always looked at their history, but I won't come for anyone.
If you won't come for Gary.
I'm not, that's right. Commissioner Paul.
I pay a good bit. Way more than, how much was it? $400? Way more than $428.
Okay, we'll take no action on item number 10. Item number 11, discuss and if appropriate, extend the Hurricane Laura disaster declaration until April the 11th, 2023.
I'll make that motion.
Motion is made by Commissioner Fomby.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Benson. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion's paid. Down to you. Item number 12, discuss and if appropriate, extend the COVID-19 disaster declaration until April 11th, 2023.
Make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner White, second by Commissioner Benson. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion's paid. Oh, I thought I'd sign that. All right, item number 13. We'll let everybody get their signatures done. Make sure you wait a little bit.
What, I missed a page? Which one was this on?
There were two of them.
What was that on? Which one was this? Thank you.
All right, item number 13, discuss and if appropriate, approve budget amendments.
That's, we have none.
Okay.
We just put that on there in case we do have any that we can come in.
Okay, item number 14, payment of the bill. What?
So I guess what KK
KK
got.
did hers already, and she did her. We was actually transferring money to, yes, her budget amendment was with her.
Inside, yeah, inside the budget.
So we're not affecting, it was just her budget.
It's her budget. It's gonna be half. Ready?
Okay, item number 14 is payment of bills.
Okay, general fund, $279,439.38. District Attorney State Fund, $124.74. Commissioner Special Precinct 1, $11,634.28. Commissioner Special Precinct 2, $13,413.60. Commissioner Special Precinct 3, $37,893.37. Commissioner Special Precinct 4, $8,897.39. Dedicated Road Precinct 2, $8,581.10. Record Perspection, $390. Solid Waste Disposal, $199.76. Voter Registration, $420.37. Newton County Library, $3,112.16. Historical Operating, $311.24. Courthouse Emergency Grant, $59,011.78. FEMA Grant, $749.50. And Technology Fund, $580. For a total of all funds, $464,758.91.
I would just like to say, I've been pretty harsh on Ms. Moore about the signature. We don't have the signature on the form yet. I know we're working on that. You've been shorthanded. But I didn't get a chance to print out the procedure that you created, that you sent out.
Yes, I
But
hope that satisfies you.
that was excellent.
Thank you.
And what that is,
I
just.
worked on that this weekend.
Just so everybody knows, because I've talked about it, I'll go ahead and say it here, that it's a procedure that validates the bills. And basically what it says is the auditor's office is going to look at every invoice / requisition that comes in, and then they're going to do an audit on some frequency randomly, and that they're going to validate the bills before they bring them to court. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Now, if we can get that signature on here, we'll be 100%.
Pass that, please. I did sign it right there.
So we're signing the one we should be signing.
Guess pass them both, huh?
Do I need to sign both?
Yeah.
She gets me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna worry about it.
Sign that.
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
Did y'all make the motion?
No, we haven't made a motion yet. Need a motion to approve payment of bills? Motion made by Commissioner Palmer, seconded by Commissioner Powell. All in favor? All against?
Hey, I do have a question, Judge, if I could.
Okay.
That procedure that she developed, how do we get that into a county archive? And the reason I ask that, last time the court approved some changes for the senior center in Deweyville.
Well, as far as the procedure, I'm gonna check and see if it's something that we as a court need to adopt in this.
And it's for her department. I'm just wondering, like, for the one in Deweyville, does that fall upon the HR department to change that, archive it? Or is it incumbent upon me to change it, archive it, and do it? You check into that?
I will check in.
Well, hell, the way I took it, it was already a procedure in place.
No, she
Well,
created it.
well, she shouldn't have done that then.
What is
We ain't okay, Dad.
We can okay it next week.
Right.
We can okay.
Right?
I don't know. I don't know how your procedure.
Well, hell, she printed out our procedure, and I thought that was the procedure that we had.
No, you didn't have a procedure. That's what I've been harping on. There's no procedure for bill validation.
Well, that ain't, we gotta bring that to court.
That's what I was just saying. It's something we're gonna have to adopt.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to.
I thought that's something, I thought that was procedure.
Be legal.
Gotta go close session, man.
We don't have them.
Go close session.
Oh, yeah, we gonna
Okay.
go into executive session.
All right, at this time, we're gonna go into executive session and talk about the personnel.
That's what she said she would do.
We gotta have a procedure. This can't be done.
We'll stay on this.
There's been some sharp.
Gonna go with what's,
Stay seeing y'all.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, appreciate y'all coming in and.
this.
You bet. Hey, you know.
Got your concerns down. I got your concerns down and I agree.
Making a private road where the property starts. So what he's gotta do is, say, zero feet from Highway 87.
Period. My opinion, period.
I think so.
Now, if they say, hold it, I don't walk up and down over the comp time.
No, that's what they,
Yeah.
but they measure it out and call them and say, hey, it's this
Period.
feet from
Now, salary?
seven.
Salary's different. You're a salary person, that's different.
Yeah, looking at
I
your
wouldn't
background.
He's from doing
Background.
Now, are you with me because of my background, or you
No.
with me because you with me?
No.
Are you with me
No,
because you with me, or
That was, you were candy section, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Downstairs?
I don't know, there's only one stall in that one. Everybody had to go to the restroom, I believe.
So we're gonna take that money, we're gonna add it to our precinct budgets?
Whatever, 25%.
Total cost?
Well, depending, wherever the total money's coming from, it will be added back to y'all. Well, I don't really know.
Y'all bring lunch? Didn't bring lunch?
Got to figure out where it
We
goes.
got a new face. Nick, you didn't bring no lunch? Oh, okay. This,
You got some plan, Nick?
Got some peppermint if y'all need one.
I'm trying to.
yeah, I'm gonna have to eat that.
That's the, right in it, up to the.
I know. All right, we're back out of executive session. I'm sorry, I got a mouthful of peppermint, but on item number 4, need a motion to basically defund, do away with the county mechanics position.
So Judge, I'll make a motion that we work with the county HR department to take the appropriate actions to defund the county mechanic position and eliminate that job.
Motion is made by Commissioner Powell.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Benson. All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Me.
Okay. All right. Item number 5, discuss and if appropriate, sell mechanic truck with auctioneer or with proper, it's got to be listed for in the paper. So I need a motion to sell the mechanic's truck.
I make that motion.
Motion is made by Commissioner Benson. I'll go ahead and second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
So who was against?
Me.
You and you. So we got a tiebreaker. I will vote for selling the truck. So, and then that should conclude. We're going to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting, Judge.
Yes. I need a second.
Second.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? Okay. And we got do y'all want to take a break before we do this?
Let's get on.
We've got the, I guess, workshop for.
Let's go for it.
Go for it? Okay.
Now?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
It'll be 4 o'clock when you get home.
We got a public hearing on regarding the grants program and insurance coverage for Newton County. So. So I wouldn't give up on this. I'm not sure who's gonna speak on this.
First, grants, let's do grants first.
Yes, and then we'll get Ms. Rosemary up here to talk about the insurance.
Sorry, you want to start with the grants?
Yes.
All right, so you said the insurance should not have been put on there, it's already been discussed. It's already in the paper. It's already-
Okay, and that's what she was discussing, going out for bids on insurance?
It's already in the paper.
Okay. So basically on our insurance, TAC is canceled on property insurance, July the 1st.